Today's lesson is on graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and start with some vocabulary. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. This occurs when y equals 0. So if you think about an x-axis and when any line would cross the x-axis, it's whenever y is 0. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. This is going to occur when x equals 0. So when we are right directly in the middle horizontally of the graph. Slope-intercept form is a linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and and b represents the y-intercept. So let's look at an example where we need to find the slope and the y-intercept from the equation. We can look at the first example. This is written in y equals mx plus b format. So we can easily find the slope, which is -4. That's the coefficient in front of the x. And b, the y-intercept, is -2. The second example, we need to do a little bit of work to get it in slope-intercept form first. We see we have the constant on the same side of the equation as our y, so we need to add 5 to both sides, and we get y equals 3/2 x plus 5. Now we can see that the slope is 3/2, and the intercept is 5. All right, let's look at our next example where we're going to graph an equation in slope-intercept form. Here we have an equation y equals -3x plus 3. This is already in slope-intercept form. We're going to graph the equation, and then we're going to identify the x-intercept from the graph. So when we're graphing in slope-intercept form, it's helpful to start by graphing the y-intercept because we can see that from the equation. So the point 0, 3 is on this graph. And then our slope is -3. So our rise is -3. We go down 3 for every 1 we go over. Down 3 over 1 to the right. We can see as we go from left to right, the line is falling, which means we have a negative slope. So in this case, the x-intercept is at the point 1, 0. And remember, the x-intercept is just the x-coordinate. So the x-intercept is 1. All right, let's look at our next example. We have a real-life application. The cost in dollars of taking a taxi X miles is written with the equation y equals 2.5x plus 2. So first, let's graph the equation. We need to label our x-axis and our y-axis. We're told that x is miles, so our x-axis will be miles, and our y-axis is dollars. And then let's label our miles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And our y-axis, let's see, sometimes we need to use a larger scale, but I think we could just count by ones on this one too. Okay, so our y-intercept is 2, and our slope is 2.5. So another way to think of that would be 5 over 2 would be the same as 2.5. So we're going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For every 2 we go over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. All right, so here's our line. And interpret the y-intercept and the slope. So the y-intercept is 2. So that must mean that we're charged $2 just for getting in the taxi without going any distance. There's a fee of $2. And the slope, 2.5, that's dependent on x, the number of miles. So the rate that the taxi is charging us is $2.50 per mile on top of the $2 fee that we're charged. All right, that's it. Go ahead and try a few on your own, and I will see you soon.